Hello and welcome to another edition of Community Forum. My name is Joseph Feaster. I am the host of the program. And today I want to talk about an illustrious community organization. Now, communities have a lot of organizations. Some remain, some go. But this organization that we're going to be discussing today has been around for quite a long time. And if I were to say to you that I have an organization whose mission is to enrich the quality of life for everyone in their community, has core values: caring, honesty, responsibility, and respect, has beliefs that they want to assist people to develop to their fullest potential and to respond to ever-changing community needs in youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And if I asked you to name that organization, would you be able to do it? Well, we're not going to put you through the test today. We're going to give you an opportunity to learn about an organization which has been around since 1844. It's the Young Men's Christian Association, or better known as the YMCA, or the Y. Interesting enough, as I began to look at the history, this is an organization that was founded in London by a gentleman named George Williams, who saw that there was a need to get young men better involved and to look at it from the standpoint of developing, for people to develop a healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy spirit. Today, I have three lovely guests who will tell us more about what our local YMCA is, the Old Colony Y Stoughton branch, and to tell us what they're doing programmatically, what activities they have, what they're doing with a new expansion program, and how you, as citizens of this community, can both participate in the programs, but also assist them in the work that they're doing. So I want to welcome all of my guests. So hello to you, and welcome to Community Forum. I want to introduce my guests. We have Ellen Green, who is the Executive Director of Old Colony. We have Joe Lever, who is the Senior Program Manager at the Stoughton branch, and Michelle Jackson, who is a Senior Program Director. Ellen, I want to start with you. I always like to set our viewing audience to give them, as I say, and put it in context so they understand in terms of the why. And I know that in our earlier discussions we were talking about that the Stoughton branch actually began in 2009, but there's a history to talk about with that. Now, and even more importantly, Old Colony started in 1887, so it was shortly after when the YMCA nationally or internationally was formed. But let's focus upon the Stoughton branch and its history. So why don't you give our viewing audience a little history of the Stoughton branch?
I'd love to. Thanks, Joe. So I think the beginning part of the conversation really is the Old Colony Y has been around for a very long time, and they started in the Brockton Central branch, and they began to research other locations that they could go into. And they've developed them. We now have 6 branches, about to be a 7th branch, and we were the 6th branch. So what happened is the JCC was very involved in the Jewish Community Center, was involved in our particular facility. It was a Stryer JCC, and we had a great thing going, but our community was changing, ever changing. So the JCC kind of got together with the Y and said, we have a great program here. We have some great concepts of we want to meet family needs, we want to engage our community, we want to do all those things. So the JCC and the Old Colony Y began to have some conversations and discussed how we could all benefit. by bringing an Old Colony Y or a YMCA into our neighborhood. And that's what we've done. So the JCC was actually built in 1988, and in 2008 to 2009, we were converting over to the Old Colony Y. So since we have now been in existence for over 5 years as an Old Colony YMCA, I am happy to say that I was originally hired as at the JCC, and I had continued on with the Old Colony Y.
Now, doesn't Old Colony, as far as YMCA's, in about 30-something communities, as far as the overarching Old Colony? Can you name some of the other communities that they're in?
Yep. We go all the way up to Lowell, and we go all the way down to Fall River and Plymouth, and everything in between. So there are 7 branches, as I said, and then there are a lot of social service sites and childcare sites. We are the largest, YMCAs are the largest childcare organization for meaning after school and childcare in our country, and in Massachusetts for sure. And Old Colony Y has a lot of these sites. And when we talk about sites right at our branch, we have 200 children a day in our childcare program, and then we have another 200 children that are involved in our after-school program. But this is all over the community. That's just one little community. That's just Stoughton. But we're visible everywhere in this community.
In preparing for the program, I like to do some background information, and I always look at it. And I was reading something about you service about 130,000 individuals throughout all of the branches that we just talked about. That's a fantastic number.
Amazing.
You know, but I also want to point out, I'm a Y kid too. I went to the YMCA in Flushing, New York. So there's, you know, in New York, it's a big thing. That's where I learned. You know, you should watch Flash Gordon on the camera.
Yep.
That they had. Of course, it was I think it was 8 millimeter or whatever they had in terms of the camera rolling. In fact, we used to have fun rolling it backwards, so you would see Flash Gordon, the explosions going the other way. Learned basketball, swimming. You know, I even got up to the flying fish as they had there, because they have all of those different levels for swimming. Learned judo and a lot of things. So the Y has played a part. But Joe, I know I visited you at the camp a few times. You even tried to get me up on the rope, but I wasn't
Not yet. We got to get you up there.
Yeah, I didn't want to get have the insurance affected, so therefore I chose better to watch some of the youngsters do that. But I know you've been intimately involved in your roles with the camp program. Can you tell our audience about some of that?
Yeah, you know, we've been a summer day camp now for, we had our 5th summer this year, so it's been a great project. We've really grown. We offer transportation from surrounding communities, a lot of different kids from different walks of life. So it's a really cool sort of melting pot of kids, and they get everything that you'd want out of a summer day camp, really. Swim lessons, they go sports, archery, they go to our ropes course. It's a really cool thing to see. We have about 400 to 450 kids a day. Wow. Coming out to our summer campgrounds. They get a taste of everything, you know, and they get to interact, and it's that whole, you know, youth building type thing. A lot of youth development. We're trying to really instill this sort of what we consider accidental learning. So we know that kids over the summer have a tendency to regress from their schoolwork. So they're not reading as much. They might not be, you know, activating their minds as much. So when they come to summer camp, that's one thing that we're really, really stressing, is this sort of accidental learning. So if they go to the archery range, yes, they're going to learn how to shoot a bow, but they might learn about the speed or velocity of the arrow. They might get a book and read about the bugs, and then they'll go and search some bugs out. So it's this really cool type atmosphere at summer camp that, you know, you don't really get many other places over the summer.
Well, I saw when I visited, there's a library that you have there where they can take books out, and there's quiet spaces from where they can read. I saw, I guess, I still remember this from my days of going to camp, where you have the GIMP, and you're able to make. I think I still know how to do the box stitch, or maybe the barrel, and maybe the snake. I think those are 3 that I can't remember how to do the snake or the cobra, cobra stitch. But you may have to come by and have the youngsters show me that. But it seems like, as you said, and I think I was there along with Jeffrey Pickett, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
were there where went through a reading of the stories with some of the youngsters. So that seems to underscore what you've just said, Joe, that you integrate play with learning throughout the entire summer. And I suspect that they can also take their swim lessons and also get their swim badges as well. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, one of the one of the great things is to see a child progress in swim, because we know that swimming saves. If they know how to swim at some level, it will save their lives someday. So that's really something we really stress. It's a lifelong skill, and that's sort of what we're trying to build at summer camp. So you might come and learn how to kick a soccer ball, or you might come and learn how to shoot an arrow. But one of the big things is you're going to come and you're going to learn how to swim. And for a lot of kids, that's something that they might not have experience doing, and it's a great way to kind of get them engaged. And really, when you see a kid pass the deep end test, it is like pure joy. They're on cloud 9 for like 4 or 5 days. And they love going in the deep end. They love learning how to dive and how to do the crawl stroke, and they even do we do aqua zumba a couple days a year. So there's really something for everybody out there at camp.
Well, I see. I'm going to have to come back and get a refresher. I won't tell you about my diving experience at the Y at this point. But Michelle, I want to go to you, because part of what this is, what both Ellen and Joe have said about the programs, you deal with the community, and the Y is a good community neighbor, and therefore you try to find the access to the community. Let's talk about how you do that by engaging folks in there, some of your tuition programs, your assistance programs. Why don't you enlighten folks on that?
Sure. So, in my role in overseeing membership, and in addition some other programs and our open house events and community and family events, I think what really the overarching premise in all of that is how are we welcoming to all, and how are we accessible to all in our community. And so that may be through the physical environment that we have, and also through some of the scholarships that we offer, or the membership for all programs, so that people really do feel, no matter where they've come from, whether what town they've come from, what race they may be, where they stand, economic status, that they feel that they can come into our Y and feel welcome and have programs that they can participate in, people they can meet, and that they truly feel included. And so that's really where we want to focus. And some of that we go out to the community and we bring ourselves out, and maybe going to school field days and enhancing their events. It may be that the students from Charms program come and volunteer at our site, and we help enhance their life skills. You always say it takes a village to raise a child, and we want to be part of a community. We know that if we can team up and pool our resources together, that we can really and truly make a difference for the children and families. And we know in serving Randolph and Stoughton and Canton and Sharon and Avon and Brockton and Holbrook, that it is a diverse community, and that by focusing on our strengths and finding the community's strengths and us teaming up together, that we can really create some great impact for the families.
Interesting. On one of the times when I visited with Ellen and with Joyce Dwyer, who is now a senior vice president with the Y, I had an opportunity, and I think the program you referred to was the Charms program, is the children with physical and mental disabilities.
Yes.
And it was just so heartwarming to see them being taken through the programs and through the different activities. Could you elaborate on that a bit, if that's not your area, either Joe or Ellen, to talk about specifically what are done with those young people?
Yeah, I'd be happy to share a bit. So there's a couple facets of Charms coming to us. One of them is they come weekly, and they do volunteer projects. So they may help us sort something that needs to be sorted. They may help us with some filing. In addition to that, they come in and utilize our facility to do some fitness and active activities in our gym. So we're really a place where they can come and enhance what they do that they can't do in their school environment, and also enhance their life skills while they're doing it, and learn skills they can take with them as they grow out of the Charms program and into the real world, the adult world.
Now, as the executive director, you're looking at, again, your El Jefe or El Jefa, and you're looking at the program in its entirety. Let's walk through your programmatic offerings and talk to folks about what it is, because as Michelle said, we're dealing with the total community, so we're dealing with ages. We're dealing with, you know, all the ages, you know, from our toddler, young folks, well, our toddlers, because you have the child care, all the way up to our adults. I want to talk about the program. And then, as Joe pointed out, in terms of the summer camp program, which has a range of ages, and even you hire folks to be junior counselors and counselors on the employment side. So if we could just put the organization in context from your perspective as the executive director, Ellen, that would be great.
I'd love to. I think the most important thing for us to start with is our focuses. And you already said them, but they are our focus, and that's how we manage our business. So it's healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. And why I mention those again is because really that's all the buckets there are, which fills pretty much everything we do. So if you look at healthy living, which is what we're all about in terms of keeping people healthy, helping them meet their goals if that's something they want to do, giving them the facilities to be able to do the things they'd like to do or learn. Maybe it's swimming, maybe it's walking on the track, whatever it is. So that's our healthy living, and our healthy living focus is not just on the individual, but it's on the family. So we have a play space so that children might be able to sort of explore different things and jumping off low height kinds of items or play items. Or we have a fitness area for our teens so that they can actually experience fitness at a teen level so that they're not experiencing things with adult size kinds of programs. And then we have everything from basketball to swimming, everything we discussed. I think what happens is that we realize that we can do the regular healthy living, but what about all the at-risk kinds of healthy living issues we have? So in today's society, we have right now we have a diabetes prevention program. We have a kids exercise and education program. We have a Live Strong program because there are people who are living with cancer and they need help in terms of how they deal with it, what they do. So it's not just it's getting them to exercise and being healthy, but also part of that support group. We have something called Enhanced Fitness, which is purely for our seniors, to enhance their lives, to help with falls prevention, and all the other things that we're working with in today's society. So when we talk about healthy living, we're not just talking about our normal swim gym, go to the gym, go run on the track. It's so much more than that. It's a Get Started program where you come in and you meet with a coach to find out how do you get started? What do you do? You've never been to a gym. How does it happen? You know, how do you learn how to get on a treadmill? It sounds funny, but it's kind of awkward. And if you've never done it, you're sort of like put in this place. You need a coach. You need somebody that can help you walk you through it a little
Ellen,
bit.
stop talking about me, please.
So that's sort of our healthy living kind of process when you think about it. I want really our community to understand that it's really so much more than just getting on a treadmill. It's really that it's the support. It's the emotional, it's the physical support that you get from being in a facility that is looking to better your experience, looking to better you in reaching your goals in the way that you want to reach them. And I tell this story often that somebody will come in and they could be overweight, underweight, whatever, and you know when they come in, they might not be coming in to lose weight. I think we think in our mind that's what people want, but it's not. What we want is we might want the byproduct. We might want that we can sleep better. We don't wake up in the middle of the night. It could be that we want to keep our mind strong, so we exercise our body. So there's so many reasons why people exercise. It's not necessarily to lose weight or to do anything that typically we think about. So I like that's important to me. The second piece is the youth development piece, and of course I think Joe and Michelle did a great job with that, saying basically we're here to develop our youth. We want our youth to grow up to be young adults, and we want them to be strong and knowledgeable and informed and physically fit and feel good about themselves, have confidence. All of those things are part of what we want to give them. We actually have a program called Asset Development, which maybe Michelle can speak to a little bit later. But really we talk about how we can help children through their growing years. It's not easy to grow up, and it wasn't easy 20 years ago or 40 years ago, and it's not easy now. So how does the Y help that? And I think that's where our youth development program comes in. And then lastly is our social responsibility. And social responsibility is all about everything from donating money to volunteering to thinking about how we're going to help people in our community for Christmas. We have a giving tree so that we can support our community in the way that they need to be supported. There are people out there that don't have what we have. Well, let's help support them. Let's make their lives better. And let's feel like we can have some part in that. So then there's the social responsibility. You talked about it, how we hire young men and women to join our forces and go to camp and be their first job in the working world, and what we can give them, what training we give them, what support we give them, so that when they move on into whatever they move on to, into a trade or to college or to whatever they do, they have a base of something to work from. And that's what we're about. We're sort of, it's really all inclusive.
Well, you know, as you were speaking, I'm looking down at my paper, and when I mentioned about what the beliefs are and how you articulate them, you know, you brought those words alive. You brought those words alive by the programs that you developed and the programs that you talk about, how things have evolved over the years. I mean, there wasn't diabetes programs before. There weren't some of, and I'm going to ask Michelle to talk about the asset program. These things didn't exist because those weren't needs that were identified back then. So the Y is able to be flexible for the needs of the communities in which they live. And that's a good thing in terms of that you have that type of flexibility, you have that type of commitment, and that's part of your mission and your belief. I just think it's extraordinary that that's, you're playing such an integral part. And again, that's one reason why the Y has survived all these many years is because of that ability to be nimble and to be flexible in the community. But Michelle, you know, Ellen mentioned the asset program. Could you explain a little bit what that is?
Sure, I'd love to. So probably, I'd like to say about 10 years ago, there was a big think tank, I think down in Washington, D.C., and out of this Search Institute, what they summed up were 40 things that all kids need. Not kids of, again, a certain race or religion or living in a certain place in the country, but there are 40 building blocks of youth development that all kids need. And the more of these 40 things that they have, the more likely they are to grow into successful adults that make positive decisions and stay in school and stay away from things like drugs and alcohol. And the fewer of these building blocks that children have, the more likely they are to turn to some of those negative behaviors that we see in society. And so we talk about how do we implement these 40 building blocks in everything that we do. It's not that we do assets only on Tuesdays or only in our after-school program. And those 40 things encompass self-esteem, personal power, youth understanding that they have a voice, getting a chance to take part in activities, having a connection to their neighborhood, to a religious community. And they sum these 40 up into 8 categories, some of them being internal, like the self-esteem, and some being external, geared towards opportunities to try activities. And so when we look at our Y as a whole, it's how do we greet children? From the very small infants up through our teens. Does everybody greet them, not just staff who work with kids? How do we put them in some committees and have them help us make decisions on what programs we want to offer? And then how do we connect them to varying opportunities and programs that they can take part in? So it's a philosophy, it's something that's at the heart of what we do. And we really feel that by being role models for these children that we can give them more of these assets and set them on a path to successful adulthood.
Well, Joe, I've seen you in action, so I know that you just don't focus on the summer program and go home for the rest of the 9 months, for sure. But I want you just to elaborate a bit on the structure in terms of the program. I mean, full day, half day, that type of thing, and and expand somewhat on what the offerings are. But also then talk about what you do in the other 9 months, because I know you have some specific skills. I know you were mentioning about your, your football prowess in the program, and sorry, lady, he's getting married. And, at the end of this month. So therefore,
Countdown is on.
Yeah, so therefore, you can still watch the program. But in any event, you should talk a little bit about the summer program a little bit more.
Sure.
Its length and breadth, and then talk about the other things that you do during the year.
Yeah, so we're a full-size day camp. So we go from 9 to 4 in the afternoons. It's 9 weeks throughout the summer, and we also have before and after care. So we're actually open 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday for 9 weeks throughout the summer. So
wow.
It is a pretty large undertaking. There's transportation from surrounding areas, bus stops all over, so Randolph, Easton, Sharon, all over. And the kids come in, get checked in, they run through some activities, they go swimming. Like I said, it's a really fun atmosphere. We do theme days, family nights, things like that. So it sounds like a lot with 9 weeks, but it goes by in the blink of an eye, and then the summer's over and kids are going back to school. It's a really cool dynamic too, because we're at the branch. So our summer camp is located out in the behind in our sports fields and campgrounds, but we also get to use the facility. So the basketball courts, the indoor pool, the auditorium, so things like theme days and things like that we use. So that's sort of the summer camp in a nutshell. And then all of our programs, I could go on forever with all the little things that we do, but we have
let's go on forever.
But we have some really fun ones that
Jeter hasn't pulled the plug on me yet, so you go ahead and tell us all about it.
Some of the ones I really like, the youth basketball league is really something near and dear to my heart. We do kindergarten through third graders, and they play on 6.5 foot to 8 foot hoops. They got their little jerseys on, and that's we do 2 sessions of that for 10 weeks apiece. So that's throughout the winter time. We do flag football and hockey, floor hockey, and all that fun stuff. Dodgeball. We have all sorts of fun little 7-week programs that you can get involved in. We're just starting now. We have a photography class on Saturdays. That will be something new we're launching. One of our camp counselors is a photography major, just graduated, so she's going to put on a photography clinic for us in the wintertime. We have some drama, intro to acting class that we're starting. We do a little gymnastics for the younger kids up to age 6, and they do tumbling. We also have some cheerleading. And one of our big ones that we really have a great following with is our martial arts program. So we have a dojo, and we have about 110 kids in the program. We range from white belts who have just started out all the way up to black belts. And we have a couple kids who have become black belts over the years, which is great to see. And it's fun to go down there and see them all in their gis and their uniforms, and they do some great activities down there. We actually have one of our assistant senseis. She's going to be 16 coming up. She does this routine where there's a bunch of girls and they do this intricate kata routine, and they put it to music.
Yes.
And it was probably the coolest event I've ever seen with the martial arts program. It was just an unbelievable type thing that they had taken the time, they had dedicated their time and volunteered their time to put this routine onto this musical kata routine is what they call it. And it was a really, really awesome thing to see. So it's, like I said, our programs run the gamut. You can come in and take a photography class, or you can jump in a youth basketball league, or you can come shoot around in the gym, or you can, I totally left out swimming. I mean, we have a whole, swim program, and we have a swim team right now that's, I think they have almost 40 kids in it, and they compete in regional events throughout the wintertime. So, if you can't find something at the Y that you like, I'd love to see, I'd love to get you involved. It's a pretty cool thing.
Well, I mentioned I made the reference for kata. That was really for my producer, Roy Cohen, just to let him know, don't bother me, because I studied martial arts as well and also judo. So that was just for his benefit. I want to let him know quietly about it. But what I want to do, I'm going to go to, we have to pay the bills around here and want to go to some of our sponsors. But when I come back, what I want to talk about is what folks can do in terms of just involvement in the programs, how they can get involved, and that may be either you, Ellen, or you, Michelle. And then I want to go to this to the expansion. I want folks to know about what the expansion is going to be at the Y. So what we're going to do, we're going to be right back after our sponsors.
Hi, it's Gary LaPierre, and the crew wants to thank Maxie's Delicatessen. That's at 117 Sharon Street in Stoughton. They're 781-341-1662. American Cancer Society, yes, they're looking for volunteers. Drive cancer patients to and from their treatments. 1-800-ACS-6662. Or just go to www.cancer.org. Ilsa Mark's Food Pantry in St. Anthony's Free Market, 2 Park Avenue in Stoughton. For more information, call Christine Gallagher. That's at 781-341-0611 or 781-341-0549. Meals on Wheels. Just ask for Jessica. You'll find her at 781-344-8882, extension 2. Stoughton Penny Saver. Our business is advertising your business, they tell us. 27 Rose Glen Street, Stoughton, 781-344-4833. Community Forum showtimes in Stoughton. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 6 p.m., Monday at 8 p.m., Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 28. All comments and suggestions welcome. Contact us at communityforum1@yahoo.com. Community Forum showtimes in Easton. Mondays at 9 p.m., Tuesday at 8 a.m., Wednesdays 3 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. And that too, Comcast Channel 9, Verizon Channel 22. Samaritans, they're at 41 West Street on the 4th floor in Boston, 02111. Their phone number is 617-536-2460. 24-hour helplines for Samaritans, and the number is 877-870-HOPE. That's 877-870-4673. Samaritans, you can find them at 800-252-TEEN. That's 252-8336. Or find them online at SamaritansHope.org.
Torah congregation, first ever lighting of the Hanukkah menorah in the town center will be held on Saturday, December 20th at 5 p.m. Come on out and take part in this precious event. Old Colony YMCA, Stoughton branch, is located at 4405 Central Street in Stoughton. And if you would like more information, you can reach them by phone at 781-341-2016 or check out the website at www.oldcolonyymca.org. And now we're back with our guests from the Old Colony Stoughton branch of the YMCA. As I mentioned at the top of the program, my guests are the Executive Director, Ellen Green, the Program Director, Senior Program Director, Joe Lever, and Senior Program Director, Michelle Jackson. Once again, folks, we are back and want to talk a little bit about the upcoming expansion. And I know that I was at the groundbreaking that was recently held. It was a fantastic time to see what is planned for the Stoughton branch of the YMCA. And I think we have a video of some of the activities that went on that particular day, some of the things that were talked about. So if we can bring up the video which we have, that would be great.
My Y story begins as a panicked parent of a 2-year-old who just found out that our daycare was closing. The Y to the rescue. Amanda was very accommodating. We toured the facility and loved that it was so bright and welcoming. Once we were part of the daycare, it was a natural extension to join the Y. I now come in every day to work out and spend half of my time socializing with the trainers, staff, and other members. I love being involved in the Y and am so excited when new families join. The Y is our home away from home.
My Y story begins a few years ago. I obtained a lower back injury. I made some calls and stumbled upon Bay State Physical Therapy, located right here at the Y. I spoke at length with their office, and it was agreed upon I should try physical therapy in the pool. After working with Maggie for a couple of months, I noticed a huge difference in my level of pain and discomfort. Following physical therapy, I began working with Ruth, who I have known for many years, going back to the days of the Jewish Community Center. We began talking, and I was soon taking personal training lessons with her in the pool. Ruth showed me additional techniques to use, and we have been working together for about a year. She is energetic and goes the extra mile to help her clients reach their goals. Overall, I hold the Stoughton YMCA and Bay State physical therapy in the highest regards when it comes to improving the quality of life one can have after a medical setback or injury. If you are looking for top-notch, well-trained staff, look no further than the Y. This truly is one-stop shopping.
My family joined the Y about a year after our first daughter was born. We were immediately impressed by the welcoming Child Watch staff and how our children were cared for while we took advantage of all the Y had to offer. We have since gone on to participate in numerous classes, lessons, and events, both individually and as a family. We especially enjoy all the special events that take place throughout the year, such as the Harvest Fair and Breakfast with Santa. It gives us a chance to spend time as a family while meeting new neighbors and friends. We truly feel part of the Y community and look forward to all the new opportunities that expansion will bring.
My Y story begins about 4 years ago. I received full custody of my son. As a single dad, I was worried how I would get a sitter to watch my son after school, but then I found the Y had an after-school program. I was excited because I could trust the Y would watch and teach my son all sorts of activities. The staff has been such an asset to both our lives. Without the YMCA offering this after-school program, I don't know how I would be able to work and be a full-time dad. As my son gets older, I want to teach him that the Y is a special place. We really look forward to the holiday season and the Giving Tree. The YMCA is like family to us, and we love everybody there. Thank you.
When the Stoughton branch opened in 2009, I was very excited for myself and my family, but also for my town, since I was well aware of all the wonderful positive community benefits that the Y brings. In 2012, I joined the Stoughton Farmers Market Committee and learned at my first meeting that the market was just one aspect of the larger effort the YMCA initiated here in Stoughton via the Pioneering Healthy Communities. My family is still an active Y family and takes part in many classes and activities, but that's just one part, a small part. More importantly, we as a family are actively involved in bringing about positive, healthy growth in our town thanks to the seeds planted by the YMCA.
My name is Personnel Dominique, and I'm a YMCA member. I've been a member for about 6 years now. What makes the Y special to me is that it's an intricate part of my and my family's lives. We affectionately call the Y our second home, even though some weeks we spend more time here than at home. We've taken advantage of literally every single option that the Y has to offer, including things like Princess Ballerina, soccer, YMCA camp, which is awesome, and even some of the adult activities such as Zumba and martial arts. And that's just to name a few. The Y has literally become our community. Friends and family that we've met at the Y have become some of our closest family friends, leading to playdates, family game nights, and multiple other get-togethers. We've established bonds with many of the staff members across different programs. Everyone is approachable and welcoming. It truly feels like a family. You know, the concept of a neighborhood when I was growing up looked very different than what things have become now. For my family, the Y fulfills the same need. This is my neighborhood.
I am at the Y because when I had no hope, the Y said, "You can do this." When I said, "I don't know how," the Y said, "Let us show you." And when I said, "I'm actually doing this," the Y said, "We knew you could."
Wow, such an extraordinary video, and being at the groundbreaking the other day was just so heartwarming because people were talking about their great experiences at the Y. And now, with all the things that we've talked about earlier in the program, about all the offerings, the programs, the camp, the community activities, we're now talking about, well, following your beliefs in terms of the ever-changing community and wanting to focus upon youth and health, and in terms of social responsibility, you're now in an expansion. And you're talking about the expansion. So I'm going to either let you or Michelle walk us through what is being planned. And I also want to find out I want to find out what we're going to tell the community about how they can play a role in the expansion of our YMCA.
So I guess I would like to start by saying that hopefully that video was impactful to everybody who saw that. I think our key to our expansion is not to expand. I know I just said it twice, but we don't expand because we want to expand, make bigger, better. It's not about that. Our expansion is about impact. What is the impact of our community? And when I listen to these people who are speaking, I think to myself, they seriously have received an impact from us. Their lives are better because of what we do. And so our expansion is all about how we can expand and make more of an impact and help that member experience be even greater than it already is. So there are two basic changes that are going to be happening. Mostly the expansion itself is, we can wait till they come up on the video and we'll show the different.
Well, why don't we bring the video up which shows what the expansion is going to be, and then all three of you can talk from that video.
I think that Joe can talk about the main floor, and then I think, Michelle, if you want to talk about the bottom floor, that would be great.
All right, so why don't you describe for our viewing audience what this is?
All right, so this is level 1 of our renovation and expansion. And what we're gaining downstairs is about 3,500 square feet that we're calling a children's play area, almost children's museum-esque, if you think about maybe the Easton Children's Museum or even some components of the Boston Children's Museum.
Why don't you point it out by color? I know we don't have the laser for you to use that, but if you could describe it by the color that's up there,
it's that light brown tan area right almost in the middle of the screen that looks like it's right under the green.
Okay, all right.
The green court area. And what we really want to do with that space is be a destination for families and for kids. And this space specifically would be probably age about 7 and under, and have some components of active play. So bring some of our current play space equipment to this area so kids can run and jump and be active at all times that we're open and all seasons. But also have some other areas in there, like potentially a big magnetic wall. Or a large train table. We know that school is really structured these days, which is a good thing. They're learning. But we know that they need to be involved in play and some free play. And when they come in, they want to be active, they want to be hands-on. We want to inspire them in areas of science and technology and engineering and math. And we really love that this area will allow us to engage kids of all abilities and all interests.
Now, is that on the level as you enter, or is that
that is
level,
not. That's going to
level
be
below?
That's going to be the level below.
Okay.
And adjacent to that, which maybe Joe wants to jump in and speak a little bit to, is another area, a gym-esque type open multi-purpose area for some younger kids' sports programming, so we can continue to engage some of the younger kids in developing their skills and staying active.
Okay. Why don't we stay with this floor, and Joe, if you can point out some of the other areas. And the other thing I know, there were some areas which you have changed, because I also want to speak to those persons who are members now, and where some of, for instance, the fitness area is going to be moved and is going to be used for something else. So if we can elaborate on those as you walk through this, that would be great as well.
Right, so back on the bottom floor, just to finish up the sports area, that big green box that you see in the middle will be for mostly younger kids, probably age 10 and below, a kind of a court sports area where they'll be able to play some indoor soccer, things like that. And there's also a redesigned family changing room, so family locker room. So we know that the families nowadays, they really need an area where they can all get changed and go into the pool. So it's a really great space for that, and also some teen and tween area lockers. So really kind of spreading out our locker room a little bit, kind of redesigning some spaces on the bottom floor. And then on the next one, on the upstairs, what we're going to do is the entire top floor, as you walk in the building, if you're familiar with the building, you'll know that there's a big courtyard right in the middle.
So we need to change to the
Yes.
next floor, the next slide, if we can, just so we can show what the next floor will look like, the upper floor. We will be coming back to that, but while we still have this slide, the little beige area off to the left, what's that?
We are expanding our group fitness areas so that the rooms will be a little bit larger to accommodate the number of members that like to do group fitness. Group fitness is a great way to exercise because you do it in conjunction with other people. It's a social exercise, and it's very specific. People absolutely. I would say that's one of our key programs. People join because of our group fit. They love it.
Well, as they try to bring that item up, why don't you talk about the expansion? Well, first and foremost, let's talk about what's the total expansion, the amount of space that you're doing. I know the fitness center is going to be about 11,000 because we're moving the fitness center, but what is the total expansion?
It's actually 23,500 square feet. What that really means is it's 11 something for the bottom floor, 11 something for the top floor, and then there's sort of spaces where you can walk. That's the whole expansion. What is important to know is that because as we do this expansion, what we know is that other areas will be changed around it because we'll be moving things. So we don't have the picture of the upstairs, but when you walk into our building, the main thing you'll see is the fitness center right there in front of you, which will be very exciting. And we're going to be having some great equipment. In terms of our space, it doubles our space. It will be great for our members. They'll love it. And then what we're happy to say is that Joe will then be able to take over the current fitness space to use for gymnastics, a floor. There's a couple of different scenarios that we're thinking about, but all for the usage of our families. We'll have more birthday party rooms, more space for people to be involved in. Bay State Physical Therapy will still be in our facility, but we'll probably move. So there'll be a little bit of changes in the way that we
orient the space.
We do, and mostly so it's more convenient for our members because it's all about convenience. It's all about that piece.
Well, let's talk specifically because since we don't have the visual up, why don't we talk about exactly, because there's some specific things that out of this 11,000 square feet, at least on the fitness center, the fitness center, but the additional space, there are some specific programs that you're going to do. For instance, there's going to be a new spin studio for those who want to do spin that you mentioned. Some of the children activities that Joe mentioned, the Children's Activity Center and the Children's Gymnasium space. You have the new birthday party space. Because you allow, Michelle, through your efforts, you have a lot of outside groups and people that use the Wise facilities, and you have a great Peppercorns is in charge of your. We got to give them a little promotion here because they provide your food service there, and you have some new family lockers, which Joe mentioned, and you're going to have more parking in there. So this expansion is, as you say, Ellen, is ordered to meet the needs of your 11,000 members, and hopefully that number will increase. And I'm encouraging folks to join the YMCA. That's exactly what it's for. Like you said, in keeping with your beliefs, in keeping with your mission, you want ever-changing needs of what's going on in the communities in which you serve. And I think you've articulated it here. And I'm sorry we can't bring up the visual on it for folks to see, but I'm sure that you have the boards in display over at the Y, and people can come by and see exactly what the expansion is. But let's talk about, maybe it's membership that you're talking about, Michelle. How can people contribute to this effort? Since the Y is such a good neighbor, they're making a contribution, they're providing these services. It takes resources in order to do it. You offer the scholarships for persons who may be less fortunate than others. How can we play a part as members of this community in the expansion, in your programmatic offerings, in order to make sure that we have a Y going on until the centuries into the future? Talk to us about that.
I think the simplest answer is to really find a few minutes, find the courage, find the inspiration to come through the door of the Y and to come see what we do, because knowledge is power, and we can talk about it, we can share everything we do with the community, but I think to see it in action really does it a lot more justice. So I encourage people to come through the door. We have some fantastic staff. We have a wonderful Welcome Center staff who's there to share with you the scope of what we do, to show you the scope of the building, to walk you through the plans that you'll see in the lobby, and to help you find your niche at our Y. And what that does is it then allows you to go and share your story with others and spread the word about what the Y does. And I think that's, for us, a way we can create an impact in the community and share what we do. And we need people to help us do that. So I think that's, like I said, in very simplest form, that the best way to be involved is to come and see what we do and be part of our Y family.
Well, I'm going to push the envelope because this is the holiday season. This is the giving season. And I want to talk, oftentimes folks do not like to ask. Politicians don't like to ask for money. Organizations don't like to ask for money, but it takes funds in order to provide these types of programs. How can one contribute to the efforts, Ellen, of either your programmatic offerings or with the expansions? How can they contact? Where can they send their checks, monies, their jewelry, their annuities? Where can they? What's the process that you have in place for that?
Thank you, Joe, for mentioning that. We do use a lot of funds during the year for our scholarships.
In fact, what is your budget?
Well, my budget is $6.5 million.
Okay.
So it gives you it's a very large budget, and we do not collect all funds from all people. We collect about $150,000 currently from our neighborhood, from you, from all of us. We do collect that, and we probably give away, in terms of scholarship, over $300,000. So it gives you an idea that it actually does end up coming out of our operating budget, and we would like to, as we grow and expand, we've only been in existence in this particular location in Stoughton for 5 years, so that takes time to grow, and I would encourage people to get involved in it and meet with me. Sometimes I think the thought was you should just send a check. Yes, I'm happy to collect any check that you want to give me. That's not the point. But really, I want to make it I want to make it what you want it for. You've gone through cancer treatment and you want to donate something to our program to help our Live Strong participants, I will put that money towards there. That's the important thing, is that there's a relationship that's built so that you and I understand what the needs are of the community and how you can help. So yes, please send your checks, but more importantly, I would really enjoy meeting with you and finding out, what are your passions? What are the things that our community wants to do? What do you think is better for our community? How can I earmark that money? How can I make sure that that children are being fed properly, or they're getting their Christmas gifts, or whatever it is that appeals to you?
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot once again to remind our viewing audience of how they can contact you. Say, contact you. What's your phone number? What's the website? Give them the information.
So my name again is Ellen Green. It's Green with an E at the end, and I am reachable at the Y at any time. They can connect with me, and my information is, the information for the Y is up on the screen. In addition, you can always email. Again, my email address is egreen, E-G-R-E-E-N-E, at oldcolonyymca.org. And if you go to www.oldcolonyymca.org, you will find my information right there on the website, along with Michelle's and Joe's and anybody else. We are really open to having conversation and really learning about what those things are that are important to you. And this goes for businesses as well as individuals. There are a lot of businesses that support us. There are a lot of individuals that support us. In terms of the expansion, that it is a very interesting process, and it will be going on. The expected date of completion is about April 2016, so we'll need a lot of support in our community, and we hope that you reach out to us.
Well, again, I'm going to push the envelope. What is the total development cost?
It is a $4.5 million project.
Yes. So again, and I know that, and I thank the three of you for certainly being here, and as our time begins to wind down, I just want to say, at least the times when I visited the Y over the past number of years, it's just been a glorious occasion. I've been there for some of your annual meetings and some of your programmatic offerings, as I said, with Joe with the camp and all. And in fact, I was over there and partook in the room. That's when I learned how to get on the treadmill properly, Ellen. So, you were speaking of me earlier. But I want to say to the viewing audience, the Y is such a great program. They need our support. They're working with our children and our adults. And this expansion is going to be significant and add so much value to our community. So if you have an opportunity, you have a few coins that you could spare. As Ellen said, if you're a person who has a cancer survivor, or you're a cancer survivor yourself, then what you want to do is be able to definitely participate and to support them. But we're winding down to the end of the program, and beside wanting to thank all of you that all of you are here, but in fact, we have a moment, we have the visual up of the program, so at least folks will be able to see it, that we have that's the fitness center, is it not?
It is.
That's the
Yep.
fitness center. You'll see that as you come that's on the main floor entry, and it goes up, about 2 levels?
Yeah, so that's looking at it from the reverse
Yeah.
of the entryway. So this is actually the rear of the,
rear
building,
of it,
looking
going
back
out
to.
back where the camp is and where the pool is.
Correct. So if you were
Uh-huh.
standing at our outdoor pool, you would
Yes.
actually be looking towards this. On your right-hand side, you'll see the existing building. That's the indoor pool as it sits now. And on the left-hand side is our childcare area.
Yeah.
So right in the middle there, that big glass enclosure, that is what used to be the courtyard. The bottom floor is the area that Michelle spoke about with the sports and child area. And then the top floor will be your fitness center. So you're thinking treadmills, ellipticals, stationary bikes. Well, most all of the equipment, 99.9%, will be brand spanking new fitness equipment. So top of the line stuff, one of our other counterparts has been working really hard to get the floor layout so that the entire area flows very nicely and will be state of the art.
Well, Gina, come to me because I want to close out the program. I want to thank Ellen and Joe and Michelle for giving this great expose and information on what the offerings are. But I want to say to the viewing audience that this is the last show for me for 2014 here on Community Forum. I want to be able to say my thanks to the station manager, Michael Hammond, to the program news director, Jeffrey Pickett, to David Young, the access coordinator, to my great producers, both Gina Coe and Roy Cohen, to my cameraman, Leo McGowan, and Roy Cohen's grandson, Tyler Cohen, for all that they've done to make me look pretty good here on the program. And I want to say thank you to all of you, our viewing audience, who have stayed with the program. Comments to me are as I go about the town about how much they appreciate Community Forum. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad. If I could speak Portuguese, I would say it in Portuguese as well. But nonetheless, I want to wish everyone a safe and prosperous New Year. And I look forward to being before you again in 2015.